Literally, me and my best friend were outside in the 90-degree Florida heat, jumping around in the school parking lot, waving our trash bags around, trying to catch a bunch of love bugs to prank my crush with on Valentine's. What was I thinking? So, you know when you're younger and you would do something that you thought was funny or cool to you back then, and you look back at it now and you're just like, what? Why did I do that? What was I thinking? Yeah, well, okay, this is one of those stories. I think I was in the 7th grade when this happened, but I'm not sure. I feel like it might have been a little younger considering what happened in the story. But anyways, let's just say I had started middle school at the time, and back then, being the funny guy who could always make people laugh or being super cool all the time was a big thing. I think this is partially due to that weird feeling that I'm sure all of you have had before, when you're on your own and you pass someone who's laughing, and your brain immediately jumps to the conclusion that they must be laughing at you for some reason. Maybe you had something on your face, or your t-shirt was on backwards. Maybe they saw that bug fly into your eye that threw you into that massive spasm. Who knows? But they're most definitely laughing at you, which they never are. It's just that notion that people are always watching what you're doing and judging you. It's probably not the best thought to entertain, honestly, but no one's perfect. I'm sure we've all thought of that at some point. But I think partially because of this feeling, I always wanted to be liked by everyone, which I think we can all say we want to be liked. That's not a bad thing. But I thought by being funny or cool, that would lead to more people liking me. But I guarantee you that if your future self was hiding in a bush watching you try to be cool and listening to the jokes you thought were funny back then, they'd be sitting here shaking their head and asking themselves what you were thinking. Okay, so enough justifying this embarrassing story. I honestly wasn't planning on making this video and had completely forgotten about this until the other day when I was thinking about Valentine's Day. And for some reason, this story hit me in the head like a brick, so might as well tell it to you guys. Okay, so I think everyone has that one friend in school that's like the go-to friend when anyone wants to talk about or needs advice on relationships. It's usually someone pretty popular who fits in with a lot of the cliques and knows just about everyone in the school. Well, I was pretty tight with this guy at my school. He was a lot older than me, but he had taken me under his wing and kind of looked out for me for as long as I can remember. Well, one day, your boy's just going through class like any other day, and I get a text from my friend that says,
"Yo, Michael, I got something to tell you. Let's meet after class."
And as soon as someone says that they need to tell you something, your curiosity goes through the roof. Like, it should be a law that they have to tell you whatever it is and can't just leave you hanging like that. That's awful. But another text comes in and it says,
"Someone likes you."
Now, who knew those 3 simple words could cause the massive wave of curiosity that followed? I immediately texted him back trying to be cool about it, but probably didn't do a very good job, saying something along the lines of, "Wait, what? Someone likes me? Who? Who is this? Tell me, please. Are you there?" And he just went silent and let me wallow in my curiosity for the rest of the class, which seemed to drag on forever. Not cool, my dude. Not cool. When the bell finally rang, I was already waiting at the door to the classroom with my books, throwing it open probably a little harder than I should have thanks to me getting ready to explode with curiosity and suspense. I ran out of the class, shoved my books in my locker, and scoured the halls until I found my friend. I ran up to him and he pulled me aside and said,
"Okay, you know that cute blonde girl?"
"Okay, let's call her Ashley. That sounds good."
"You know that cute blonde girl, Ashley? I just found out she has a crush on you."
And I'm like, dude, there's no way Ashley has a crush on me. There's like 4 other dudes that like her. She probably likes one of them.
"See for yourself."
And my guy reaches into his pocket and pulls out one of those notes you pass in class that's folded up real tiny so the teacher didn't see it. He hands this to me and I unfold it and see this. It says, "Do you like Michael? Yes or no?" And yes was circled. My heart started beating a little faster, my palms started to get sweaty, and sure enough, about a week later, me and Ashley were dating. In quotation marks, that is, because that's all it is at that age. Y'all don't know anything about dating in the real world, and if you want to grow up and start a family with that girl, you're just trying to get a cutie to call your girlfriend and show off to your friends. But anyways, I've been dating Ashley for a week or so now, and Valentine's Day is coming up, right? And I think this might have been the first time I had a girlfriend on the Big V Day. So, not knowing what to do, I set out to brave the big unknown aisles of Walmart for a Valentine's Day gift. I think I ended up getting lost and eventually finding a cute little stuffed animal and box of chocolates to give her. So the big day came around, and while everyone else was in class, me and my best friend hopped out of our study hall and ran across the hallway to get my friend that knew everyone's locker combinations in the school. We all ran down to her locker. I've got the stuffed animals and the chocolates in my arm, and me and my best friend straight up activate stealth mode and pin ourselves up against the wall between the rows of lockers so no teachers walking by would see us. My guy popped the lock and was back in class before his teacher even realized he was gone. And as we were putting the stuff in her locker, I had the weirdest, we're bored right now, let's not go back to study hall idea. Now, I don't know where this came from or why I did it, but this idea popped into my head. So, in Florida, we have these things called love bugs, which are tiny little flies that come through by the thousands twice a year. Just swarms of these things will cover the entire town for a week at a time. And at this time of year, they were here. We had this idea to catch a bunch of love bugs and put them in her locker, so when she opened it, they all flew out and scared her. And it was kind of funny because they were called love bugs, and it was Valentine's Day. Yeah, okay. I know it wasn't the best idea now, but to two bored kids, that sounded like the funniest prank. If not funny, at least something fun to do with our time. So we borrowed some trash bags from the janitor's closet and ran out to the school parking lot, and sure enough, they were everywhere. It looked like a giant dark cloud had just engulfed the entire school. It almost looked like a black snowfall. But these bugs were pretty slow, so they weren't too hard to catch. But can you imagine what that looked like to anyone inside watching? Literally, me and my best friend were outside in the 90-degree Florida heat, jumping around in the school parking lot, waving trash bags around like idiots, trying to catch love bugs to put in my crush's locker as a prank on Valentine's. Looking back at it now, it seems like such a silly thing to do and embarrassing for anyone that saw us, but like, stop, what am I saying? In the moment, I remember having so much fun, and we just had the biggest smiles on our faces as we skipped class to catch love bugs to stuff in Ashley's locker. I remember thinking about all my friends that were inside watching us bounce around, flailing our trash bags all over the place, and thinking of how jealous they were because they were stuck in boring math class while me and my friend were free as a bird running around and just having fun. And sure, there was probably that one kid who looked outside and thought we were stupid, but who cares? Who gives a crap what anyone thinks about you? It doesn't matter even the slightest bit. There's a good chance you'll never see that person once you're finished going to school with them. In 5 years, you won't even remember it. Unless you're reminded of it randomly one day like me, and then you turn it into a YouTube video. But all the power to you. If you can run around outside catching bugs in a garbage bag and have fun, we were just loving life without a care in the world. I feel like that's something we should be doing more of now. Less worrying about what others think of us and giving more focus to doing what makes us happy, no matter how weird it may look to others. But where was I? Oh yeah, the ladybugs. Back to the story. So after 20 minutes of running through the parking lot with our bags, we had caught a pretty substantial amount of ladybugs, like a lot, and snuck our way back to her locker. We looked both ways to make sure no one was looking, and then dumped both of our bags in her locker and slammed the door shut. I think we ended up putting tape over the holes in the locker so none of the bugs would escape, which probably looked pretty suspicious now that I think of it. But our jobs were done and we headed back to study hall to wait for the bell, which seemed like forever. We waited and waited and waited and waited, and finally, the sound we were waiting for, the bell rang. We peeked our heads out the door to watch the hall flood with students as we casually started making our way towards her locker. We posted up across the hallway trying to look as nonchalant as possible with the biggest grins on our faces. Finally, we see her round a corner with her friends and walk up to her locker. She for sure noticed the tape and became extremely cautious to open her locker. She didn't know who had put what in there, and she had all the right to be scared. I had heard so many stories of boys catching these giant frogs and sticking them in girls' lockers as pranks, and they were gross. They were big slimy things that would pee all over your books, and I'm sure she didn't want any of that. So she undid her locker and stood back as she slowly opened her door. And nothing happened. Wait, what the heck? Where's the big swarm of love bugs that were supposed to jump out and attack her? Well, apparently they had been in there so long that the majority of them died, I guess. I could see a few of them over her shoulder crawling around, but I don't know what happened to the swarm we put in there earlier. Maybe they found a hole and got out, or died from lack of air or something. I don't know. But looking back, that was probably a good thing, you know? For her not to be traumatized by a swarm of love bugs attacking her in the hallway. And that probably wouldn't have helped the relationship last despite the actual gifts I got her for Valentine's, which she liked by the way, but she couldn't figure out for the life of her why there was tape all over her locker. Again, I've got no idea why I did this and can't believe I'm telling it to you guys, but that actually happened. This was a real Valentine's Day for mini me back then. Oh, and my friend that told me Ashley liked me in the first place, I think he made that note he gave me and made one for her as well, and then circled yes on both of them and gave them to us to get us together essentially. I mean, to be fair, we were giving each other subtle heart eyes from across the lunchroom the week before. He kind of just pushed us together, I guess, which is fine, but I honestly don't know to this day if she actually circled yes or if it was just him. Who knows? But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed listening to me tell that embarrassing story of my first Valentine's with a girlfriend. I guess if there's something to take away from this story, it'd be to not care so much what others think of you. Do what you were originally going to do and don't let anyone stop you from being happy and doing you. Oh, and also, if you put a bunch of love bugs in your friend's locker, don't forget to poke holes in the tape so they can breathe. But I think that's going to be it for this video. Let me know in the comments what your embarrassing Valentine's Day stories are. I'd love to hear them. And a massive thank you to my buddy Fish for helping me out with this video. I really appreciate it. Definitely go check him out if you haven't already. He's got some great videos on his channel. But I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. what? Why did I do that? What was I thinking?